The second notes today are over classification. I ended the last notes talking about evolution. Now, with evolution, natural selection and other processes have led to a staggering diversity in all organisms. So as organisms change over time, that develops new species. So at this point in time, biologists have identified and named about 1.5 million species so far, and they still have many more to go. And like I said, the species that live right now are very minimal compared to the species that have ever lived. So, because of this, we are going to classify organisms into different groups. So then you ask, why do we have to classify? We classify to study the diversity of life. Biologists use this classification to name organisms and then group them in a logical manner. Usually it's because they have very similar characteristics, and it starts out very broad and then gets more specific until you get all the way down to the species, which is the most specific. Then we use the word taxonomy, and this is when scientists classify organisms and assign each a universal name. Okay, you want to have a universal name because not all species have the same common name in different areas. So then we use taxonomy to give them a universal name. So when we're talking about scientific names, they're always in Latin. And when we look at what we use the genus and species. So if you look at humans, our genus is Homo, and the species is Sapiens. Linnaeus developed this, what we call binomial nomenclature, and we know bi means two, so this is giving them a two-word name, and it's each species, like I just said, have a two-part name, and that's where it gets the name from. The scientific name is always italicized. The first genus is always capitalized, and the species is always lowercase. If you are writing them, then you go ahead and underline them, but when you type them, you go ahead and put them in italices. Then after, not only did he name them, he also put them. We have the list of the classifications. In this instance, they started out with the smallest, which is species, and went to the largest, which is kingdom. Most of the time we see it in the other order, the kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus, species. Each of those levels is called a taxon. Species is the smallest taxon, and genus is the one right above it. And as you get higher up, the groups get broader. We in zoology will be focusing on the phylum. So we will, each chapter, we will talk about the different phylum. But we will be going over some of the more broad kingdoms and things like that also.